Welcome back to Bronze League Heroes. In the bottom left, it is the Protoss Rebel. And in the top right, it is, appropriately a Zerg, SayNoToStim. Unfortunately, no Terran on the other side, but a public service being done here. Ooh, even a fancy extractor trick as well. We will see. A gas first. A gas first. Almost as good as going gateway and then gas. Not quite as good, but almost as good. So an interesting build out of Rebel here. On the other side, SayNoToStim is going for that pocket base. It's going to be tucked away. A lot of Zerg players aren't a huge fan of taking that. Because, of course, you are cornered. Well, maybe he likes being cornered. Who knows? I don't know his life. Rebel is going to slowly but surely make his way into the Zerg base. In the APMs, 100 to 150. Looks like these are some top-tier bronzies here today. Or at least bronzies in spirit. The spawning pool. Going to the back of the base. There's nothing to punish with. Where's the forge? No forge yet. A second gate. No expansion coming out of Rebel. He rebels against the idea that he needs to expand. It's still 2011, and we're all four-gating every game. All right. Those were the good old days, right? But why, though? But, and there's a pylon in the base. Looks like the hatchery was misplaced for a second, and I would argue this pylon is as well, but it seems very deliberate. I mean, it's not going to be scouted for a while yet. There's a forge on the way. He plants a pylon down in the enemy base, and he says, I should get a forge to take advantage of this situation. An interesting choice, but we're going to have to see how it plays out for him. Two queens, just something resembling a standard 3-base build here from SayNo. Maybe a little bit light on the drones or the economy in general. Or just anything, or even Zergling speed, but he's going to have 3 hatcheries. And the cannon rush begins. The pump fake here. You never expect a cannon rush hitting your base at like the 4-minute mark. But lo and behold, it wouldn't be without. The Zerglings, wait, they're out of vision. He sees nothing. He knows nothing. And, he sees the pylon. He sees the pylon. But does he know? Has he seen the pylon, though? That's the real question. Let's look at the SayNoToStim action cam brought to you by Chipotle. Because they paid us more. And I went there the other day, and it was pretty good, and it was in my mind, and I didn't plan ahead on this. I got one of the big burritos. It was pretty great. Unrelated, though, to the cannon rush currently happening in this base. As he could kill these cannons. They're not protected. They're just... Okay, he's coming back. But a cannon will finish in time. He had the opportunity, but instead he will be cut off from both the outside of his base and his third. But SayNoToStim, he's spreading his creep. He's trying to react. The crisis management, it's all coming together. He's racking his brain right now for opportunities. There's a hard, well, not a hard wall, but a sentry stands guard at the other side. No expansion here for Rebel, remember. But he does have 26 probes to 15 drones because most of his drones have been spent on buildings and static defense. The spines should, somehow he's able to hit the creep tumor, but not the spine. Don't ask me why. A trick of the light. But, the cannons have been stalled out. He shouldn't be able to finish the job with them. A lair is on the way. More drones. And this leaves SayNoToStim with a relatively stable... Yeah, why not? That's where we'll put the gateway. 2 bases. And we're going up to 4 gates. It was destiny. It was going to be a 4-gate one way or another. We're going 1 base, Wings of Liberty Protoss, and we're not stopping anytime soon. He's just going to add on some tertiary cannons here. Just have a nice perimeter with which to guard his proxy gateway. Still no even thought of expanding. Looks like these guys may have watched Innovation versus Dark and taken some inspiration. I mean, like, that's like comparing a beautiful concerto to a middle school band, but you gotta start somewhere. Nope, now it's time to expand, apparently. Unfortunately, a Nidus network is on the way. The cannons hold a forward outpost in the enemy base, but the occupying force seems to have been repelled for now. The mothership core finding its way across. A little bit of reinforcement there, potential recall. But will it be a total recall? We'll have to see. He's warping. He has a sentry. More cannons reinforcing. But he is expanding behind. How will this Nidus work? What's going to happen? The Overlord's coming in. It's going to see everything. Thank you very much for that. He has the resources. Is he going to slap down the network? No, there are these units. I think somebody hit the Selecto Army hotkey. 2 more sentries being warped in. SayNoToStim, what are you looking at? His base is dying. Does he give up the main? Does he go for the kill? He has his Nidus network. It has yet to be... The worm has yet to be placed, but it's burrowing through the map. Down goes the third. The main base is occupied almost fully. Will there be a recall? What is the decision? Because the queens and the roaches are about to pop out. This base will be going down absolutely free. The main base is effectively undefended. It's 62 to 51 supply, but we're in such... Oh, he's moved down to the natural. SayNoToStim gonna lose half of his bases. The same thing gonna happen on the other side. We're in a base trade. In every sense of the word. The second base gonna go down at almost identical times on both sides of the map. Actually, this one he's gonna let live to let it think about its transgressions. The slow roaches are moving forward. The probes are evacuating. The probes will be allowed to evacuate as well. All right, it's only... I mean, there's a lot of... You don't want to get pinned for war crimes, okay? There are no war crimes today. Well, by at least one of these players. On the other side, though, Rebel is ripping through SayNoToStim's base. Are there any drones? He brought 3 drones through. Wait, there's a base over. He's building a base in the corner. 2 lings will find it, almost incidentally. But there's a base in the bottom right as SayNoToStim's base is being eviscerated. 24 probes to 2 drones paints a very dim picture for our Zerg hero. He canceled the base! Why did he cancel it? What? He canceled the base! What happened? Is he gonna... He has just enough. If he spends any more minerals, he won't... If he builds anything else, there's nothing... I guess maybe a sentry. But... He can't... Okay, he gets 1 shot. If he didn't have enough for a base, then we have quite a game. Because then he actually has to go kill his unit. But he has enough to build 1 Nexus. And he's gonna build it at the natural base of SayNoToStim, who's building his hatchery at the natural base of Rebel. But Rebel will have to fight into the high ground. These units have decided to hold down the fort at the moment for inexplicable reasons. SayNoToStim going to be left with a grand total of 2 overlords throughout this so far. And the buildings will fall. The main bases and the traces of who originally owned them has all but evaporated. And the supply, if you look at it, is 59 to 28. There's still a gateway on the... Somehow not a... I'm not sure why it's not a warp gate, but it's not a warp gate. For unknown reasons, the mothership core is scouting. He's building a spawning pool with one drone, then realizing maybe I need to mine so I can double my income. The creep is spreading out. The probe strike will finally be broken and they'll be sent back to work. The hatchery, a little bit too lazy to send the drones to mining as well. It does seem like Rebel is in a very comfortable position. He's got 36 to 26 army supply. He's got 23 to 4 workers. I mean, everything is going well here for our Protoss. So many probes escaped persecution. Is there anything that can be done here? I mean, base swap. Well, yes, that is what happened. Yep. LOL. There's still the Nidus network. But if he gets in the worm, there's nowhere else to come back out. So at this point... Double Stargate. That's a bold move for the amount of money he has. No scouting of that other base. The mothership core and the zealot are looking around. They're scouring. Neither player is being revealed. He's doing a great job of his creep spread as he has very little else to do. Oh, but will he recall in time? The mothership core is controlling it. He's trying to hit that recall button. The queens are on the chase. They have infinite range. Knock it down. Score 1 for SayNoToStim. But he's going to need to score a lot more to make a comeback here today. He's now expanding to the main of his opponent's base. Oracle is on the way. The drone count becoming... Well, he's back where we started. We're back at 12 drones. So everybody just hit that reset button. We're taking it from the top. On the other hand, there are still 28 probes. He's building 2 oracles at a time. There's no anti-air aside from the queens. He knows where the army is. This could be the killing blow. Cannon's on the way. I'm not sure what he's afraid of, but... We do have the second spawning pool of the game in production. But a single oracle goes out, and a single oracle could end this all before it really restarts. This has to be the end, right? Like, there's nothing to save these drones. There's not even a queen here. All the queens are out of the map. He only has 3. He only has those 3. It's been a winning position for Rebel ever since we took this exchange.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
All he has to do is claim this victory. All he has to do is finish him. He has the money, he has the army, he has the bases, he has the economy. The oracles come in. He's down to 12. Well, I'm not sure if he actually killed any workers. 2 kills, 1 kill, but that might be partially Lings. The oracles will get tired. They'll run out of energy, and they will be forced to dip. 5 more drones are on the way. Rebel, at some point, he's got to bust a move. Well, I guess taking a 3rd base and maxing out isn't a terrible play. It may be a bit on the conservative side of things, but as the red player, that would be more appropriate. Just lock everything down. Oh, the queens. The queens have hunted the oracles. The oracles not having the revelation they needed. But will barely escape. At least one. The other one's fine. The other one actually is just completely fine. But it's still a long way to go. He's been pumping out drones. But 16 to 35. He's building a lair. He's getting a roach one. Maybe a little bit. He's jumping the gun a bit on what he can afford, but he has to try something. What's the play here? There hasn't been a play for a while, I'll be honest. But we have to see. +1 air weapons, as Rebel has just entirely decided. We're going to sit back and max out on 3 bases. On my opponent's bases, because why not? We still have sub 20 drones for SayNoToStim. We almost have 1 drone per minute right now as the total for him, which is not ideal. Oracles, getting revelations, getting scouting, going around, dying. But in the grand scheme of things, in the end, does it even matter? Expanding here because he blocked his 3rd base with creep tumors. Why not? We're doing Oracle, Observer, creep tumor killing, which is, like, that's like using a champagne glass for Bud Light right there. You've got an Observer, you've got an Oracle, and you're using them to clear crap. I mean, as the army at 150 supplies moving out, SayNoToStim, to his credit, has built up quite a force. Is it enough? I don't know, Kev. This is quite a death ball. I mean, if it engages up the top of the ramp, there is a potential for fail. Well, he successfully rips out the creep tumor. And very cautiously and precariously tiptoes his way up this ramp. That's a lot of Roach Hydra. Do they have any upgrades? There are no upgrades. He's retreating. Is he going to recall? The Disruptor comes off cooldown. There's approximately all of the force fields and then a few extra cherry force fields on top. And Rebel will be repelled at the ramp. Will he try to come up again? No. He cannot recall either why he did that in the first place. He's actually mining out. Okay, now let's think about this. He's mined out of 1 base. This base was already partially mined here by SayNoToStim. So there is a potential that he runs out of resources and this creep spread and the army... is expanding again. I mean, I'm not saying that's a likelihood. 23 drones! 23 drones! I have no idea how we can afford all this. But, he's definitely on an Applebee's diet, okay? Let's put it that way. He's got all these nice things, or at least they look nice, but really they were just microwaved, and they're not top of the line. Let's put it that way. It looks good, it tastes okay, but Roach Hydra will always be the unenthusiastic hand job of unit compositions, because at the end of the day, while it might get the job done, it's just not very exciting and really not very effective. He's caught between cannons and a force field place. The Queens have come up. Rebel finally doing his best. The Queens are actually, the transfuses are on point. And he's gonna tap out with a GG. Rebel occupying his base. His own once and future main denied.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
And GG.
I'm not sure either of these jackwagons could change a flat tire, just saying, Kappa Ross.
I'm not even sure they know what a tire is. I'm not even sure they've invented the wheel yet. They're still trudging along on their own 2 feet. Or maybe all 4s. I'm not entirely sure. We're not sure. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in that progression.